I just want to say that it's so worth it to just stop and to feel all your emotions, even when you just want to keep distracting yourself and you just want to stay in thoughts and you want to distract and you want to have fun, you don't want to feel bad, but like that initial uncomfortable feeling, if you actually just like surrender and tune into it and allow yourself to feel it, it will pass. And that's the only way of getting rid of negative emotions that affect all areas of your life. And then you try to fix it and you try to avoid it and you try, like on the surface level, you try to fix it and control things. And like the best thing you can do is to actually do what your ego wants to do the least, is to actually sit with the emotions. And that's how you transcend them. And this is the beautiful part, when you let go of negative emotions, you automatically start vibrating high. You automatically feel happy and you automatically start feeling peace and love, because that's our true essence. So it's not like we have to become something. It's actually getting rid of everything that we are not. All the negative emotions that we've been addicted to, both neurologically, mentally, and physiologically, biologically, chemically in your body, because our body is addicted to this rush of emotions and it's connected to our neurons. When you let go of that, our essence, our true nature is love and a state of peace and happiness. And I'm so grateful for that. Can you imagine if we had to become something that we're not, like we had to reach a state of something that we had never been and that we are not, and it's not our true nature? Like imagine if our true nature was like suffering and evil. No, those are all illusions that we can get rid of and that we can get past by simply allowing it to be, to sit with it, Kadesh? So what helps me is to visualize the uncomfortable emotion as whatever it is, fear, guilt, shame, boredom, anger, whatever it is. It helps me to visualize it as a child calling for attention, because that emotion wants our attention. And what we tend to do when that, you can visualize it as a child screaming like ah, but it's the emotion, right? It's boiling within us, or maybe not boiling, because maybe that's just anger. Like whatever the intensity of it is, what we tend to do is say, no, don't come here, I don't want to feel you right now. So we say to that child, to that emotion within, right, like, no, you're not allowed here. And then it just gets more and more frustrated and it's going to scream louder and louder for our attention. So the way to go is to say, okay, come here, come sit. And we sit. You literally just we don't even have to understand it. We don't have to label it. We don't have to investigate why why your emotion is there and why it's feeling the way, and like justify it and label it and go and complicate things. No, literally, when the emotion comes up, you just have to sit with it. So you say to that child when it's calling for your attention, again, your emotion, you simply observe it without wanting to change it, without wanting to label it, without trying to manipulate it. And you don't sit with it so that it can go away, because that's not accepting. You sit with it like truly accepting it, allowing it to exist, to be there. And you feel it. And it might intensify at first because you're putting your attention there and like you're accepting it. You're not trying to distract yourself, which is what we tend to do, but that's just going to accumulate it more. So you sit with it. Breathe, feel into your body, feel the emotion, let it surge, let it come to surface, let it be there fully. For as much time as it needs. But don't feed it with thoughts. Like, that's going to be the tendency to think like, oh, I'm feeling this because that person did that and I say this and I shouldn't have, and whatever happened, all that story. No, because then you're not feeling it. You have to get out of your head and into your body and feel the emotion. Really sit with it and feel it. And it's okay. It's totally okay to distract yourself. It's normal. You're not bad at meditating. You're not doing it bad. You're just, it's a little bit of a practice, but it becomes easier and easier. The ego will, have its arguments for you not to sit down and feel like, I don't have time right now. Like, the ego has good arguments that we fall for. But when you let it be, funny enough, and when you truly accept it, I'm naked. I hope it's not reflected in the mirror or something. I hope. I'm naked. I'm tanning naked because it's good. It's good for testosterone production. It's a little secret for you men. Like right now, I don't know where I got this thought, like how much I love this house and that I am almost 3 months late with the payment. And if I don't pay, I will lose it. So I bought it, but I'm still paying every month, right? To the old owners. And if I don't pay within a week, I can lose it. They can take it back according to the contract. And I don't have the money right now to pay. So that's a very scary, uncomfortable emotion, especially since my aunt lended me the down payment. And I would totally just lose that if I don't pay. That would just be lost money. And I would have to move out, and I would have, and I have the dogs and the cat. And that's a very uncomfortable situation, very uncomfortable emotion. But okay, but I'm not gonna label it, and I'm not gonna try to solve it. Our ego tries to solve problems. It thinks that it has to think. It believes that it has to think to solve problems. And its excuse will be like, I can't sit here and feel. I need to like solve this problem, either externally or in its thought processes, and it's not going to solve anything. I totally did not expect, because I was feeling good, I did not expect this emotion to come this strongly right now when I was recording. I was telling you what to do. I was telling you to sit with your emotions. I was telling you to sit with your uncomfortable emotions. I was feeling good right now. I was not expecting to have this fear of losing my house and this fear of and belief in scarcity and lack. And this problem with money that I've had for so long, I wasn't expecting it to come up so strongly. And this like crying for not having money and not being able to pay all what I have to pay, to cry about it, it's been a while, because not for suppressing it. I just haven't been sad because I trust so much the process, and I trust because I see signs, and I know that I'm dedicated now and being my best version, and I know that the universe conspires in my favor, and I trust. So I'm like so motivated now, and I'm focused, and I know deep down that it will all be solved, but I don't have the answer right now. So for the ego, it's scary. And so yeah, it's been a while since I cried like this about my economic situation, but it's coming to surface now. And I'm gonna shut up so I can sit with it. So now, if you have an emotion coming up, I invite you to sit with me. It doesn't have to have to do with money. It can be a conflict within your mind or with someone, or having lost a loved one, or having lost a job, or being confused, or being sad, or being angry, or feeling like you've been treated unfairly, whatever it is. Maybe just being bored because you don't want to sit in silence and do nothing and watch a video of a guy sitting doing nothing. Let's sit with that. So I'm gonna sit with my shit without labeling it. And I'm gonna stop talking soon, but I'm trying to guide you guys through this too. If a thought comes up and you get distracted, that's okay. Instead of beating yourself up for it, you can be happy about the fact that you noticed it, because when you notice that you got lost in a thought, and it can be stupid things like, we have this in common. It can be like, oh, I need to do the dishes, or some sports game, or a song, whatever it is. Like, don't feel stupid and don't beat yourself up. But when you notice it, that's good. So that means you've come back to present moment. Just put your attention in your body again, in your hands, in all of your body. So the magnetism of our addiction to thought is strong. And again, this is even chemical. Like, our thoughts are neurons triggering hormones, emotions. It's all related in our body, so it's strong. They're going in loops. And to break that, you really have to be decided to, and put your attention, this is key, put your attention back into your body. Breathing and putting your focus on your breathing can help too. It goes hand in hand with the body. Maybe some humming. But for this exercise, I wouldn't stay in the humming, but it can be a way of coming back. So you need to see the difference. It's not a thought like I feel. It's not a mantra. It's not your voice. It's not the voice in your mind repeating, I feel. You could say that once, as a mantra to come back, but then you have to actually feel, which is not, you don't feel with your thought. It's not, I feel. That you're still in thought. You really have to. And when you manage to sit with your emotion and let them be, it, it starts finally leaving your system. Again, we don't sit with it so that it can leave. You don't sit with it so that you can feel better. No, you sit with it and truly, fully accept it for the time that it has to stay. And if it's forever, then you're fine with it. Good news is that it's not going to be forever. And when you actually sit and accept it and allow it, it will start to dissipate. And we have this negativity, these negative emotions accumulated in the different layers of our different bodies and systems and from different lifetimes. So it can be a lot and it can be very intense and strong. But just know that you're safe and it's gonna pass. But you accept it as if it's not gonna pass. You truly accept the emotion. But I'm telling you, many areas of your life will finally miraculously start improving because you're actually letting go of all these negative emotions that have been blocking you from being you in your true essence, blooming in love and joy. Your true nature is all that. When you have sat with the emotion for as long as it needed, you will know intuitively. But when you no longer feel the emotion in your body, the intensity of it will start going down, dissipating. Then eventually you surrender this emotion, you hand it over to the Great Spirit, to Espiritu Santo, to God, and you can, but don't do this too soon, because then it can become a mechanism of like not wanting to feel an emotion and not actually wanting to sit. So for example, you get a negative emotion and you're like, God, Great Spirit, please take care of this emotion for me. I can't do this myself. Please take care, because I don't want to feel it. Basically, if you do it too fast, no, you really have to sit with it first. But then after you have, it's good, it's important to have a closing prayer, intention, whatever you want to call it, to hand this over, because we can't and we don't have to do this alone. That's another mechanism of the ego, thinking that it's all alone and that it has to deal with all this all alone. It's alone in the universe. We're not separate. So call upon the universal intelligence and the universal love. I say God, y Espiritu Santo. And the Holy Spirit, Espiritu Santo, the Holy Spirit is actually your highest self, your invulnerable mind, the part of you that's always known that you're not separate and has never been altered or attacked or traumatized, and it's never attacked anyone else. It's never felt lost or depressed. It's always been, it's like the bridge between God and you and your personalities and lower minds, so to speak. It's your highest mind. That's what the Holy Spirit is. So what I do, and this is all what I'm saying right now, it's from the book of David Hawkins and his technique of letting go. The book is called Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender. And it's his technique, but it resonates with other techniques that I've heard of that have worked for me. But this is like the way to go. It's the only way, is to sit with the emotion. My closing prayer is to God and to the Holy Spirit to please take these negative emotions. I only want to love now. I only want to love myself now. I have been lost for way too long in these negative emotions that have been blocking my true essence as the clouds block the sun. I choose again now, and I have felt these emotions now, and I accept them. And I ask you to please receive them for me. I hand them over to you because only you have the power to lift me up from these negative emotions, from that state of negativity, and allow me to vibrate high in my essence with clarity. Because just like Einstein said, you can't solve a problem, so to speak, with the same level of consciousness that created it. So you can't really leave a negative state, an emotion and thought with that same level of consciousness, with another thought on that same level. That's why you call upon God and the Holy Spirit to help you, and you surrender that negative emotion to them and ask for help, and you let it go. You really truly hand it over to them and surrender. We're doing good. Don't be hard on yourself in this process of awakening. Good times are coming. If you allow yourself to feel, this is a work that everyone is going to have to do at some point. If you imagine 2 glasses of water, both of them are water, and then at the bottom there is dirt that's accumulated. But the water on top of that accumulated dirt at the bottom of the glass of water, the water on top of that in both glasses, it's clear water. So that dirt at the bottom represents all these negative emotions that are in our subconsciousness, but they do affect our lives on a daily basis, and they keep us from realizing our full potential. When you start this spiritual path, you start stirring, and the water gets less clear in the meantime. So it can feel like you're actually worse off than you were, because someone who doesn't start the spiritual journey, they will have this dirt at the bottom of the glass, and it will affect them, and it also will, they will know something's missing. They will know that they're not fully enjoying the present moment. Like, I've seen this at a disco like the One Oak in LA. I remember like seeing people there, and like in the VIP, and they're famous people, and with their drink, and like, I could tell something's missing. I can see it. I remember especially seeing one famous actor, and I could see it in his eyes, like something's missing. He's not happy there. And it's when you have all that dirt at the bottom of your glass, like majority of people have, without taking care of it, because we distract ourselves, you know, you will feel like something's missing. But the water is clear on top. So, you know, if you ask this person, like, how are you? They'll be like, yeah, things are good. You know, and they can actually generally feel like, you know, things are good. Life's pretty good, you know, and the water is clear. This is what's called ignorance is bliss. And then, because they're completely ignorant of that shit at the bottom, it won't let them fully reach their potential. And actually, maybe they do materialistically, but they won't feel fulfilled. That's why it can seem like a person has everything, but they might commit suicide, and they were like famous and rich, and it seemed like they had everything, but they were not feeling fulfilled. So when you start stirring this, when you start a spiritual path, when you start going within, when you start being present and accepting your emotions at first, and especially some days, on rough days, it might seem, you know, the water gets a little turbid, it gets a little cloudy in the process. But you are getting all that dirt from the bottom, all those negative emotions accumulated over lifetimes. They start to dissipate, they start to disappear. Little by little, you're clearing it, and everyone is gonna have to deal with that dirt at the bottom, all those negative emotions. If you wanna call it karma, you can call it karma. Everyone is gonna have to deal with it at some point. So you might as well do it now. And it doesn't have to be I can't say it's easy, and it will be difficult and uncomfortable, but if we do it together, and if you have all the good tools so that you don't walk around as fools, no, but if you get the tools from people who have learned from their mistakes and been lost, and if you get these powerful tools that really work, you're getting all the shortcuts. It's not shortcuts, because you do have to sit with your emotions, so there's no shortcut around that, okay? where you are getting the key. You're getting the golden keys to heaven within. You're getting the golden keys to spiritual awakening. And it doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be that difficult, or it doesn't have to be a struggle. Do it. That's why I'm saying you have to be so loving to yourself and so kind to yourself in this process. And also know not to distract yourself with drugs or sex or whatever it is that the tendency has been, because that's just going to make it more difficult and you're going to prolong the suffering. I just realized when I went to get the mailman came here in the middle of the video, and I stepped into the dog's poop. And when everyone starts clearing up the shit at the bottom of their glass, all those negative emotions accumulated, the water starts getting clearer and we become more aligned with our essence, our creative, loving, passionate, happy, peaceful essence. The more and more people who do this, you know, it will be a ripple effect, and our collective consciousness will awaken, and it will allow us to create heaven on earth and live in a conscious society where we can bring up our kids in a loving, conscious way and be aware that everything is a reflection of our own inner state that we project outwards, and we can all take responsibility for that with total innocence. Responsibility, but not with guilt. But when you take responsibility for your life and for how you're feeling and for how your relationships are, when you take responsibility, realizing that it's all a reflection of your inner state, you reclaim your power. You take your power back. Finally, your happiness and your peace does not depend on anyone else externally. So you take full responsibility and you go within with total innocence, with the curiosity of a child, and you observe and you love and you integrate your shadow and you allow it to be, and you feel it and you accept it, and then you surrender it to God and the Holy Spirit, and you'll be free. They say the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. And finally, we will manifest heaven on earth. We'll live in a 5D conscious society where politicians or where there are conscious politicians, or where we're all taking all the decisions together because we all can, because we're all conscious and intuitive, and we know what's best for the collective, for all of us, because we are all one love, one love. We're all one consciousness. So what you do to others will affect you. And when you start going within and awakening, that will have ripple effects on other people in the world, on the collective. That's why it's so important. That's why it's important that you turn off your TV and don't spend more time giving power to the conflict and feeding the conflict with your precious attention, feeding the news, because the ego is addicted to that drama. That's why it's important that you turn that off and you go within. That's the best thing you can do to solve conflicts, is to solve the conflict within yourself, to sit with it, because we do have a lot of conflicts. And they get represented in the physical material world because we all have conflicts within and in the collective. So when you go within, that's the best thing you can do for world peace. Find your inner peace. If we all do this, there will be world peace. As within, so without. The original cause is within. So if you try to change the world and fix things, that's all good if you do good things, like in a war and you give people food and water. Of course, there's so many important things you can do. But the most important thing for long-term manifesting of peace in the world and a conscious society is to find peace within, because that's the original cause.